every day it feels like more trickles out about this Trump assassination attempt shooter. More trickles out, and the more updates that we get, the more questions we have. And honestly, the more it just like new information up triggers the bullshit meter. Bump it up. Like, I feel like I should have, you know how when classes have these little goals, they're like selling something and they have the little thermometers. We need to have that, but it's like a bullshit meter. And every single time that the mainstream media or the FBI or the deep state releases new information, we're like, that just cranked up the bullshit meter even more. So here's the latest newly released footage from Dave Stewart. This is a man who attended the rally that day in Butler, Pennsylvania, shows that law enforcement had the building that the shooter was on surrounded up to 3 minutes before shots were even fired. Watch.
That's all we wanted to do. If he was doing the job, I wouldn't even be doing this.
There's cops surrounding this whole entire building right now.
They look to be pretty aware of what's going on.
There's something going on in this building.
Yeah, you think?
Instead, I'm here with you fighting like hell to get a senator elected and to make sure
Oh my God.
back to the White House because if we do, we're going to make America.
No
There's
urgency.
somebody in this building.
We're going to make it. And it's not easy because we have millions and millions of people in our country that shouldn't be here.
Hello?
Criminals.
We're walking and we're walking. And we're walking and we're casually walking. Still casually walking.
In recorded history, the best
Those of you listening on audio, there's a
You don't mind if I go
random person on a horse with a Trump, waving a Trump flag, which is just chef's kiss on this.
You guys are doing it. My guys, take a look at that chart. Take a look at the arrow at the bottom. Big red arrow. Right? So that's what I love.
Like, what are they doing? So even the bystanders see that there's something going on in this building. Everyone's like, what the hell's going on? Cops are just casually taking a stroll around the building.
Make yourself small, bro. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, now there's urgency. I just, again, everything that comes out is completely incomprehensible to me that this was not some sort of inside job, even if it just means that like someone knew that something was supposed to happen and just decided to not show up, decided to just let it happen. I don't know what exactly it was, and I'm very fearful that we may never know. You would think that if Donald Trump gets back in the White House, he's going to blow the lid off of whatever evidence he can find. But it is just absolutely unfathomable that this would be anything other than just allowed to happen. Why else are you surrounding the building like that? If you're just going to casually stroll along, I mean, I'd say if you know enough to surround the building, you know enough, by the way, yesterday, you know enough to know 30 minutes before shots are fired that there's a guy that you should be looking for that parked by law enforcement who had a rangefinder earlier, who you took pictures of because he was so suspicious, and you still let Trump take the stage. Like, none of this is, to me, chalked up to just DEI hires or incompetence. Like, you would have to be talking about a level of incompetence in which these Secret Service agents or law enforcement, whoever the hell it was that didn't do their jobs, like, they would be so incompetent they couldn't tie their damn shoes in the morning. That's the level of incompetence you would have to have in order to allow all of these convenient little details to happen and transpire so that this guy gets shots off. And yet here we are. And now here's another thing. Now they tell us, well, after we already said that it appears that he didn't have any social media accounts. Remember, that's what they tell you straight off the bat. Now you don't get to check because they do scrub everything before you can actually go and check. So they say, well, he had a Discord, but don't worry, we took care of that. You don't need to go look for yourself, okay? You don't need to go see what he actually said. We've taken care of scrubbing that. We have a partnership with Big Tech where they just take everything down immediately and scrub it. So you only get what we feed you. But now today, how many days out are we? Today, now they're saying, Crooks may have had social media accounts. Before, it was a Discord account that was rarely used. Today, in a hearing before Congress, FBI Deputy Director Paul Abate, I don't care how the hell he pronounces his name, revealed that they unearthed a social media account that they say it may be tied to Crooks. Now, this left about 700 comments between 2019 and 2020. And here is what this FBI deputy director had to say. Some of these comments, if ultimately attributable to the shooter, appear to reflect anti-Semitic and anti-immigration themes. Are you guys shocked? Are you guys shocked to hear that they're trying to turn him into anti-immigration, to espouse political violence, and are described as extreme in nature? I don't know. I'm just wondering, do you trust the FBI? Do you trust the FBI's anti-Semitism narrative? Because here's what else we've heard about this kid. He donated to Act Blue. He was tied to BlackRock in that little commercial. That was convenient. And that we heard that he had espoused hate against, Jews and illegal immigrants. I don't know. I mean, do we trust the FBI? Do we trust the FBI to not feed us a narrative that they want to use against us? Because this is the same FBI who is like investigating grandmas who wave their American flags, who was sent on a guided tour by Capitol Police on January 6th. That's the same FBI. This is the same FBI who are calling parents domestic terrorists who show up at school board meetings. This is the same FBI who's raiding pro-life protesters' homes. This is the same FBI who raided Mar-a-Lago over some fucking classified documents. Do you trust them to not just feed you a narrative that is against half of the country? In case you couldn't tell, I sure as shit don't. So the Gab CEO, Andrew Torba, responded to all of this on X, which is kind of funny because he owns Gab. But he said that whatever the social media account the FBI found, he said it had nothing to do with what he was told. So he said the FBI's claim is not consistent with Gab's understanding of the shooter's motives based on an emergency disclosure request we received from the FBI last week for the Gab account Epic Microwave, which based on the content of that emergency disclosure request, the FBI appeared to think belonged to Thomas Crooks. So let me finish reading this, and then I want to give you kind of an important point on that. Many, particularly regime media reporters, have doubted Gab's claims that this request existed. Normally, we don't confirm the existence or content of law enforcement communications. In this instance, we had to make an exception due to the overwhelming public interest in disclosure and transparencies. Now, he is calling out, obviously the regime media reporters for doubting the existence of this. But I want to be clear here. This emergency disclosure request, this wasn't the FBI saying, look up all accounts belonging to this person. They were very clear. They were like, we need information on this account because we believe it to be related to this guy. And we want to make sure that we have all the information, that there are no other, he doesn't have any cohorts that he was working with. We need to know everything there is to know about this account. And that account specifically included a whole bunch of anti-Republican rhetoric and pro-Joe Biden rhetoric. So that's kind of weird, right? It's kind of weird that he'd be like anti-illegal immigrant or anti-illegal immigrant, and be pro-Joe Biden. So who are we trusting here? Add this to the bullshit meter. I swear I'm going to figure out how I'm just going to go get a big poster board and draw a freaking thermometer so we can just keep adding this, okay? There've been a lot of leaks lately in regards to this, which, by the way, in and of itself is disgusting, because you would think that the FBI would at least take seriously and be transparent enough to the American people that you wouldn't be leaking information. We would just already know it. We would all already know it. You would have told us everything. The guy's dead. You're not going to like interrupt the investigation by telling us things that you know, because the guy is already dead. He's not going to hear you and go, uh-oh, got to cover. He's already dead, okay? But we've been hearing about all of these leaks, and the Oversight Project researched all of these leaks that have been leaked to different mainstream media sources, and they found there were 36 total media leaks. Well, where are these media leaks going? 12 are going to NBC, 10 are going to ABC, 9 are going to CNN, 2 are going to the AP. Washington Post got one, CBS got one, PBS got one. Well, that's awfully strange. Do you see a common theme here? Or do you notice anything that's lacking here? I don't see any Blaze Media. I don't see any, Daily Wire. I don't see any Fox News. I don't see any right-leaning media. Seems strange that all of these leaks that are being leaked to mainstream media from the deep state are only being fed to all of these leftist mainstream media outlets. Kind of strange, but no, please. The FBI says, trust us, bro. Trust us, bro. We're the FBI. Don't question anything. If you like this clip and you want to see the full episode, click here. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, come on, you know you do. Click here.